Today, we're going to get right inside our dogs' heads to really understand what they feel when we walk out the door. We're going to explore the very heart of their anxiety and, most importantly, figure out how we can help them feel safe and secure even when they're on their own.
I mean, it's the question every single dog owner asks themselves, right? You see those big, sad eyes, maybe you hear a little whimper, and you close the door just hoping they'll be okay. But what is actually going through their mind in that moment?
Wow, that really hits home, doesn't it? This is the feeling we're unpacking today. And it's not just about a dog being a little bit lonely. For so many of them, this is the start of a genuine panic, a deep-seated fear that their whole world, their safety net, has just vanished.
Okay, so let's start with the goodbye itself. Because the anxiety doesn't just, flip on like a switch the moment you leave. It builds. And dogs, well, they're absolute masters at reading our cues. So their worry starts building way, way before you even think about touching that doorknob.
And here's what's so important to get. These behaviors are often totally misinterpreted. That pacing, it isn't just your dog being clingy. That excessive yawning isn't just them being tired. No, these are signals. They are subtle little messages of rising stress. Your dog is literally telling you, hey, something is about to happen, and I am not okay with it. And this, right here, this really shows you the disconnect. We just see a behavior, but they are living a thought, a really urgent plea. When your dog stands in front of the door, they aren't trying to be difficult. From their point of view, they're doing the only thing they can think of to keep their family, their pack, safe and together. The key is to see these actions not as misbehavior, but as what they are, desperate communication. So, what's actually going on inside their head on a psychological level? Let's put on our vet coat for a second. Why does this initial worry escalate into full-blown panic for some dogs? This, right here, is the biggest takeaway. Your dog isn't choosing to chew up the couch or bark for hours just to spite you. They are having an involuntary panic attack. Their brain gets flooded with stress hormones. We're talking cortisol, adrenaline, and that triggers a massive fight or flight response. This chemical storm basically shuts down the rational part of their brain, leaving them in pure survival mode. This analogy is probably the best way I've ever heard it explained. Just imagine for a second being a little kid who suddenly looks up and realizes their parent is gone in a massive, crowded supermarket. The noise is overwhelming, every face is a stranger, and this primal, gut-wrenching fear just takes over. That is the level of emotional intensity your anxious dog is dealing with. So from their perspective, the thought process just spirals. It starts with a really simple, confusing question. Alone? And then the panic ramps up. See, dogs don't really have our concept of time. They don't know if you're gone for 5 minutes or 5 days. To them, it could seriously feel like forever. And all of that leads to this one final overwhelming feeling. Pure fear. It's a terrifying place to be, and it's something that we, as the people they trust most, actually have the power to change. Okay, so that's the scary part. But the good news is we can absolutely do something about it. So how do we fix this? How do we rewrite this whole story for our dogs? Let's get into the practical, real-world steps that can turn all that panic into patience. Every single one of these steps is designed to rewire your dog's brain. Practicing calm cues, for example, just desensitizes them to your leaving routine. A special puzzle toy helps build a positive association with you leaving. And number 5, the calm return. I know this one feels a little weird at first, but it is so critical. By ignoring them for that first minute, you're not being mean. You're teaching them that you coming home is normal. It's not this huge dramatic event. It just lowers the emotional stakes of you being gone. All right, let's talk about a tool that honestly gets a really bad rap sometimes. The crate. Because when it's used the right way, it's not a prison, it's a sanctuary. It actually taps into a dog's natural instinct to have a safe, cozy little den. We really need to clear this up. If you just toss a dog in a crate with no positive training, yeah, of course it can make anxiety worse. But if it's introduced properly as their own personal, safe space, it becomes the place they choose to go when they feel unsure or just need to chill out. It gives them a real sense of security when you can't be there. Look, building this den is all about patience. You want your dog to think of that crate as the absolute best room in the house. Feeding the meals in there, giving them an amazing treat they only ever get in the crate, these things build a super positive connection. But here's the golden rule, right? The crate is always their choice. It should never, ever feel forced. And when you put all this together, with consistency, with understanding, you really can create a whole new reality for your dog. A new normal, where you leaving isn't a cause for alarm, and you coming home is just a calm, happy reunion. And this is what we're aiming for. See how we've replaced that first quote of fear with this one of total contentment and security. The same things are happening, the keys, the click, but now they trigger a completely different, peaceful response. The dog gets the routine now. They trust that you're coming back.
Look, at the end of the day, it all comes back to trust, doesn't it? Your dog has literally placed their entire world in your hands. So understanding their perspective and taking these steps, it's not just about fixing a behavior problem. It's about honoring that trust. It's about making sure they feel just as safe and just as loved when you're gone as they do when you're right there by their side.